Getting my first nursing job in the UK as an immigrant was not as easy as I thought. From applications to interviews to everything you need to know in this video, I'm going to be taking you through the whole process of how I was able to do it. So I moved to the UK in 2021 and I finally decided to share my story. So I'm making a series of my location journey from how it started. I'm going to go all the way through to where we are now, so that's going to be a whole lot of series. If this interests you, if you're looking to relocate, if you're a nurse looking to get a job in the United Kingdom, you are the right place. Do like, subscribe and click on the notification bell so that you'll be part of the full series. Let's get right into the video. First of all, to get a job in the United Kingdom as a nurse, you have to go through the registration process with NMC UK. That's a totally whole new video. I will link it to this video in the description, and also at the end of the video you would be able to watch that video because I will link it there. That's a totally whole video. So when you've gone through that process and got your registration and everything you need, then we're just dealing with job application in this particular video. So application, so at that time actually it was easier, and there was lots of recruitment going on in the United Kingdom for nurses, especially within the NHS. So to be fair, compared to now, it was way easier then, but not as easy as it sounds. So there are websites where you can make your applications. The first of them I highly recommend is Track Jobs, because NHS Jobs is a good website to also apply, but most times they would have to also import your application to Track, because Track is kind of a major like job application management or recruitment system. Before I continue, do forgive me if I'm sounding a bit nosy. I'm very unwell, and I think I've got a flu, and I know I should rest and all that, but I just told myself I'm going to stay committed to this 30 days routine. If you check the time I'm posting this video, you would know that I just wanted to stay true to myself. So I'm not feeling well, that's why I'm having some flu, that's why I'm looking all this dull and I'm sounding very, because I can hear myself sounding weird. So let's continue. So Track Jobs, TRAC, that's my number one recommendation for job searching. If you're looking to relocate to the UK for any kind of healthcare job, Track Jobs is where to go. And if you want, you can also add NHS Jobs. You can use Indeed and all that, but mostly what you will find there are private recruitments. So that's it for the applications that I use. I just use Track Jobs. I had a Track Jobs account and an NHS Jobs account, but most of my applications were being imported to Track, so I just focused on Track. Looking for it is TRAC. So drum rolls, I made over 300 plus applications and before I was able to get my first job offer. So if you're on that journey and you're like, oh, I've written my CBT, I've written my LS, I've done this, there's no job application, I have one question for you. How many applications are actively sitting in your Track? I mean, when I say 300, I don't mean the ones that have expired or the unsuccessful or unfortunate leads I've gotten. I'm talking about the active ones at the point that I got my offer. So a lot have become unsuccessful, a lot have expired and all that, but I had 300 plus active applications before I got my job offer. Now this was not because I was making that were not standard enough, because the market is huge and everyone is applying. Then there was massive recruitment, so you had to put in the work. So you don't just expect to make one application and then there goes your job. So if you're complaining that you've not gotten a job, how many applications have you put down? So I usually say this: if you're looking to relocate to any country and you're actively searching, you should be making at least 10 applications per day, at least 10 applications per day. So one good thing about Track Jobs is that when you make an application, it can save all your details, and then when you make a new one, you just autofill it and then kind of edit it to suit that particular job. I'm just going to be giving a pro tip here. So if you're making applications, don't just take the same supporting statements or supporting information. Those that are in the process will understand what I'm saying. There is a particular place that is supporting information. This is the place where you sell yourself, you tell us your experience, who you are, your degree, how many years of experience you have, what you can do, what you want to offer while you're applying. That is just like a place where you sell yourself. Don't just copy and paste one supporting statement to all your applications. Tailor your supporting statements. Now go to the job description on the job thing and read what are they looking for. Then tell us. Supporting information is just tell us how you are fitting up for this job. So if you mention everything that you are and everything that you've done and it doesn't relate to the job description or doesn't tell us in any way how you're fit for that role, then you're not gonna get listed. Maybe I'll make a totally different video teaching how to make a proper job application. For today, I'm just going to continue on how I got my first job. So I made applications, and so I started making applications actively because my relocation journey was quite back to back. So I wrote my IELTS in September, I wrote my CPT in October, and immediately I passed my CPT, I started applying for jobs. I got my offer letter in November and I traveled in December. I know, right? It looks very impossible, but that was how it happened for me. So that living motivation that yes, you can do it if you put your mind to it. So next, after my application comes the interview. So one day I went to my email and there goes it, yeah, you're invited for an interview, and I was so excited. So I started going to Telegram groups asking, has anyone had an interview with this particular trust before? Do you have interview questions? There are lots of Telegram groups out there for nurses that want to relocate, and they can be very resourceful if you find the right ones. I got some interview questions, even generic ones and specific ones, and I prepared for my interview. Now the interview was just like a user interface like this, because of course I was in my home country and they were in the UK. So to be honest, my interview was kind of a testimony, because that interview, like, Skype call disconnected over 20 times, but luckily for me, my employer kept calling and calling. I felt like it was just God's way of telling me that he was involved, because at the point it even disorganized me, made me lose hope. I've even given up, like, why is this call cutting? I made sure I had enough data, I made sure the network was as strong as I could predict, but it just kept disconnecting. But just to encourage someone out there that if you put your mind to something, if you put in the work, God and the universe has a way of bringing your efforts successful. So don't just stall, don't just say, oh, I'm gonna do it next time. Just go ahead and do it. So the interview was good. I was asked questions like, tell us about yourself, where you tell us who you are, like your nursing profession, how long you've practiced. Tell us about yourself. In interview is a kind of it's kind of similar to a brief supporting information. So just brief us on who you are when you graduated, where you how your experience and what you can offer, things like that, just a summary. And then the next thing, I was asked about handle stressful situations. I was also asked about and I gave my answer. Just be diplomatic. I think I would definitely make a full video where I would teach step-by-step process of how to make a proper application, then another video for interview, because it cannot all be jumbled into one video. So after I've had my interview, it should have taken about 45 minutes, but because it was coming off and on, it took about 2 hours or so. So I answered my questions, and then I was asked about my experience where I would like to practice and I chose elderly care. I cannot forget this experience, because I felt like, oh, I wanted to make a change in this life. I thought it was hospice. That was what I understood for elderly care. So I thought it was like a non-medical section where you just take care of the elderly ones that are in hospice. I didn't know that elderly care has levels in the UK. That's a story for another day. If you work in elderly care, I know you would relate to this video. Tell me in the comment section what came to your mind when I said I chose elderly care. So after my interview, fast forward, I asked them some questions like what were the support for international nurses, and also asked them when I'm supposed to hear back from them, and they told me I will hear back from them within a day. So after my interview, I was so nervous. I was even crying. I was telling my husband, oh my god, the call cut over 20 times, that one is gone, this interview I've been looking for a while, blah 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 blah. I was so surprised because the Skype network was too bad. I didn't even know that they've gotten back to me on Skype since afternoon, almost immediately after the interview. So later in the evening, I got a WhatsApp message from our recruitment, like the company that handled that recruitment. That was like, congratulations, you're successful in your interview. I almost broke my phone. I was so excited. And yeah, so that was it. So I got the job. So my first interview landed me. My first offer landed me. My first interview landed me my first job. That is a huge testimony. I didn't have to do lots of an interview, and I'm very sure that it's not because I was the very best. In as much as I'm good at what I do, but I know that the God factor was there for me too. So if you are on your relocation journey and you believe in God, don't just go run helter-skelter. Learn how to pray and trust in Him. And if you don't, I just want to encourage you to do, because it works. And yeah, it did work for me. So next thing, after that, recruitment agency got in contact with me, and then there comes the paperwork. I don't even want to go there. Loads and loads of documentations I had to send it. So if you're looking to relocate to the UK as a nurse, then you have to get your documents in order, starting from your correct birth certificate, your correct name, your correct everything. Make sure your addresses on your bank statements are put together and in good order. You want to be looking for your WAEC certificate, making sure it bears your correct name and everything. If you've gotten married and changed your name, you want to make sure that all your names are aligned and you have change of name documents. As at that time, I've gotten married and I've changed my name, so I had to provide newspaper publication, court affidavits, and marriage certificate. So I had to provide those 3 documents to certify that I've changed my name. And then you have to make sure, of course, you should not even be here if you don't have your international passport, your IELTS results, your CPT results. You have to have all of them, or your OET, whatever English test you've written, you have to have those also. So I started sending all those documents as proof of address. So that could be bills or your bank statement, whatever shows your address. Just make sure that all your address, all your names, all your details are consistent, in the documentation. Sure that you have all your documentations. That's just what I'm saying. And one thing that is very frustrating is when the opportunity comes and you're not ready. Prepare your documentations and get ready. So after my interview, I got the job and the journey started. I started my documentation, and from the day I started my documentation, it was less than a week. In a few days, I got my certificate of sponsorship, popularly known as COS. So yeah, that was how I got my first job in the UK. It was not as easy as this little video is saying it, but making this video, I realized that I'm going to have to teach differently. Full video on job application process, and then I have to teach a full video on interview process to be able to help you. So but this is at least to encourage you, to make you know that it's doable, it's possible. So arrived at the UK on my first day. I got the shock of my life. I was like, whoa, is this what elderly care is? Maybe I'll make another video on my first day, working as a nurse in the UK. So yeah, that was how I got my first job. So my advice, I've already given my advice. Number 1, trust God, be open-minded. Number 2, make at least 10 applications every day. Number 3, make sure you're tailoring all your applications to the person specification. So when you go to track job, they will tell you what they are looking for in the right candidates. Make sure that your supporting information is explaining how you are that right candidate that they are looking for. So make sure that what you're applying for, you have those skills and you have that knowledge base. You can build on them, but at least you have that knowledge base. Make sure that you have your documents put together and just keep applying. See, nursing is a global passport. Put your mind to it, and you're going to get it. If you're a new nurse and you're maybe already in the UK, or you were in a different profession and you're now moving into the nursing profession, congratulations. And follow this process and you would also be able to land your first job. Make proper applications, you know. In short, just like, subscribe, and click on the notification bell. I am going to have to make proper full video for application and interview processes. So I just wanted to show up today and keep to my promise. I am not feeling well at all, but I'm glad that I did. If this video made sense to you, if you're on your relocation journey, you're thinking about relocating to UK or any Western country as a nurse or anywhere at all, then please subscribe and click on the notification bell, because in the process of sharing my series, in the process of reminiscing and sharing lessons of what I've learned, you are going to be learning a lot. You know, you're going to be getting the footage. You know, I relocated to the UK since 2021 from Nigeria, and as an immigrant living here, this is the 4th year now. I have a lot to share with you that would help you on your journey. If you're already in the UK, you're in any profession at all, you can like, subscribe to this channel, because we are going to be being real and sharing our life experiences so far. So I'm so glad I was able to make it to see your face today, and I'll see you next time. Stay blessed, stay happy, and see you on the next one. Bye bye.